What's up, y'all? It's your boy J. Calderon, Stan Clear Entertainment, and we're about to get into this week's boxing talk. This Saturday, December the 19th, it's the last final fight weekend of 2015, and we have a very big fight cards going on. First is going to take place on Showtime Extreme channel at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the WBO Middleweight Championship of the World, when Andy Lee defends his title against the #1 contender, undefeated Billy Joe Saunders, right in the UK, in the backyard of Saunders. And it's a very good, interesting fight. This guy Saunders, I haven't seen too much of him. I saw him when he fought Chris Eubanks Jr., and that was a very tough fight for him, a very close fight. And Saunders is a very tough competitor, a guy with a good chin and a guy that likes to mix it up. He could box and he can also go toe-to-toe when he has to. And it's an interesting fight because Lee is the favorite in this fight. He's the bigger fighter. He's the guy with more experience and also the guy with the harder punching power. And we all know that Lou DiBella and Al Heyman are planning for him to win this fight so he could fight Daniel Jacobs for the title unification in Brooklyn in 2016. So we have to see what happens, how this fight plays out, because, you know, we've seen that Lee has been hurt before. He's been dropped before. He's been dropped by Peter Quinn. He's been stopped by Bryant Valera, and also stopped by Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And we've seen them behind on the scorecards against Julian Jackson's son and also that top-ranked fighter, Matt Cobo. So he had to come back in those fights with his punching power to rescue him from a defeat. So if he falls behind on the scorecards against Saunders, you know, and Saunders is able to take his punching power, he could be in big trouble and he could lose that fight in the UK. You know, so that will open up the door for a fight between Saunders and possibly Glennie Golovkin, because Golovkin would definitely travel to the UK and fight him in his backyard for that WBO title. It's not a guarantee that Lee, the favorite, is going to win this fight, because Saunders is definitely a live underdog. Now, moving along to HBO Boxing After Dark, about 10:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's the big heavyweight showdown between Bryant Jennings, the American heavyweight, against the Cuban undefeated hard-hitting puncher Luis King Kong Ortiz. It's an interesting matchup. It's a test for both guys. We know that Bryant Jennings is one of the best American heavyweights out there. It's a fight that he has the better boxing skills. He uses his jab, but he's a tough Philadelphia fighter. He likes to go toe-to-toe with his opponents and everything. He's not that much of a big puncher, but he has that heavyweight punch. And Ortiz, we still don't know if he has a really good chin or not. We still don't know if he has the boxing skills to deal with Jennings. You know, does he have a good strong jab? Does he go to the body well? You know, we're going to find these things out about Ortiz that night. And we know that his punching power is definitely hard. But we've seen Jennings against Glitchko, and we've seen that he was able to take Glitchko's punching power. So he might be able to take Ortiz's punching power as well. So I'm looking for Jennings to either look very good in this fight and either stop Ortiz in the late rounds or win by decision. Or does Ortiz blow out Bryant Jennings the way he blew out Latif? Now, that fight with Latif, he tested positive for steroids. Now, you know, I think there is going to be drug testing for this fight. We have to see how this fight plays out, but I'm rooting for Jennings as the victor in this fight right here. Also on that card, we have the return of Nicholas Walters, a sensational Jamaican fighter that's undefeated. He's the former featherweight champion that blew out Nonito Donaire in his last great performance, and he has grown out of the division. Everyone was hoping for him to fight Vasily Lomachenko. It was a fight that everyone wanted to see, but Nicholas Walters has now moved up to 130 pounds. That fight will not take place at 126 pounds, so we can forget about that fight. Now, I really don't see anybody in the junior lightweight division for Nicholas Walters. Maybe the Roman Rocky Martinez and Orlando Salido fight is there on the table for him. Fight perhaps the winner of that fight right there between Martinez and Salido. Also on HBO Latino is going to be a very late night of boxing. It's about 1 a.m. Sunday morning on HBO Latino channel. And it's going to be Cuban light heavyweight Yunieski Gonzalez, the guy that gave Jean Pascal, all that he could handle. Many people thought that he won that fight. He was robbed in that fight. He's a very strong light heavyweight with good punching power, a tough fighter. He's fighting against an undefeated Ukrainian fighter that was an excellent amateur, and now he's undefeated 14-0 with 12 knockouts. So he's a very good puncher as well, and he's going to test himself against Yunieski Gonzalez. So this is a very good matchup. It could be a very explosive, exciting matchup between these two at 175 pounds. And if Yunieski could get past this Ukrainian fighter, the doors open up for him against guys like Andre Ward and also Sergey Kovalev. Those are very good matches for him. You know, he's already aligned himself with HBO. I think there's a deal on the table that he's an HBO fighter now, and I would love to see him against Andre Ward as a, test for him in the light heavyweight division. But also on that card, we have the return of Yuriorkis Gamboa. Gamboa was a superstar in the featherweight division when he unified the titles of the WBA and IBF featherweight crowns at 126 pounds, but he has fallen from that star. The last time we've seen him, he got knocked out and demolished by Terrence Crawford. It was a very good fight. The first half of the fight, he looked very good, very sharp. He was handling Crawford well, but then he fell apart and he was knocked out. So he's been off with a very long layoff, and he's had bad management, bad promotion, bad training habits, and he's looking to get back. Let's hope that he's back on track and he could get back to what he once was with that hand speed and that punching power. I look forward to seeing what Gamboa brings to the table. He doesn't have a really strong opponent in front of him. He should have a victory win, but let's see what type of victory win does he have. Does he have an excellent, impressive performance? Let's hope so. Also on that card is Gabriel Rosado versus Joshua Clottey. Now, this is a fight that we haven't seen Clottey fight since the Manny Pacquiao days when he put on that horrible performance against Manny Pacquiao. Joshua Clottey is definitely a durable fighter. He has a very good chin, and I expect him to last with Rosado. Rosado's not that much of a big puncher. He's a tough Philadelphia fighter as well, and it should be an interesting matchup. Hopefully it's not a stinker. Rosado, I think, is being lined up for Canelo Alvarez, which is just ridiculous. They don't have nobody over there at Golden Boy. WBC has made a ruling now that both Golovkin and Canelo will fight each other in September of 2016. They have until May 31st, 2016 to make that deal, and they both have been allowed to fight tune-up fights before they face each other. And I think that Golovkin is going to fight in March, and then Alvarez will fight on Cinco de Mayo, May 2016. So those opponents that Golden Boy is throwing at him could possibly be Gabriel Rosado if he does well in this fight right here against Joshua Clottey. But it's a big night of boxing. It's a very good night of boxing. It's the last big fight card of 2015. I want to thank everybody who has followed me on YouTube and has subscribed to this channel right here. Thanks for the support. Also, continue to follow me on Instagram and also join that Facebook boxing group page, J Calderon Boxing Talk. I'm J Calderon, Stand Clear Entertainment. Thanks for your support.